Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize. In this video, we're going to be looking at well-being at work 50SO7 AC2.2, which is discuss how well-being can interact with other areas of people management practice. The marking guide is to discuss how well-being interacts with other areas of people management practice. So I love it when this happens. Both questions are practically identical, which means the markers and the people answering the questions, there's nowhere that anyone can get misconfused, disorientated, or anything like that. Everyone's working from the same thing, because sometimes the questions CIPD give you a little bit more or make it a little bit more bulky so that you've got a bit more direction. But I think when it is clean for both, it's better for me. I prefer it when it's like that. So anyway, let's do what we normally do, which is break the question down into its component parts. Now, as always, number one is verb. Verb, if you don't address the verb in the question, you don't pass the question. Verb is one of the biggest errors people make when it comes to addressing a question, when it comes to a CIPD qualification. So discuss how well-being can interact with other areas of people management practice. Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you mean by other areas of people management practice? We're talking about performance management. We're talking about recruitment and selection. We're talking about compensation, benefits, reward. We're talking about learning and development. We're talking about all the different areas of HR and how well-being at work interacts with them. So discuss how well-being at work could interact. So how does well-being interact with performance management? Increased retention, decreased staff turnover, recruitment and development. So again, if you're doing recruitment and development, so you're gonna have less job adverts, you're gonna have lower turnover, you're going to have better retention rates, you're going to be recruiting, you're going to have a more competitive field because you've got happier employees. Compensation and benefits. Again, rewards. When you're thinking about the rewards, you're thinking, well, how does well-being interact with the reward? Well, actually, you could have well-being related rewards. How does well-being and reward coexist? Do you have wellness retreats? Do you have yoga? Do you bring people in? Do you healthcare, mental health, coaching and mentoring, all these things? So again, I'm just saying these things so you can think about it. Discuss how it interacts with other people. Now, discuss, when we break it down, is to talk about a subject and tell someone your ideas and opinions. So again, when we talk about things, verbs like discuss, and we're using discussing these things, we need to hear some of you when you're answering this question. So there needs to be an element of your opinion, your ideas. But at the same time, it can't just be, these are all the things that I think you should do and how it should interact. References show you have fully researched and understood the perspective you're assessing. So share how you think well-being interacts with another area one. Share how well-being interacts with another area number two. I know it says one there twice, but it should say number two. And build it out your question that way. You have 333 words to answer this. So you've got pretty much 160 words to answer how you think it is, why you think it is, and to prove why you're right. As with anything, when it comes to CIPD and it comes to assessments and it comes to this, it's fine that they're asking for your opinion. They want to know, they want to see some of you in this, but they also want to see that as an independent HR consultant, you have consumed a vast array of information to inform your decisions, which is why references and citations are critical, because you're going, I think this, and this is why I'm right. Evidence, evidence, evidence. So make sure you do that. Now, remember as well, whilst it's not critical for this question, I would always keep in mind you work for InsureSave. You work for InsureSave. You work for Insurer. So InsureSave should be in your mind. So how does it impact? So if you think about it from an InsureSave perspective, vast call centers of call handlers, how does it interact with other areas? So they've had an increased turnover because of the pandemic, stuff like that. They've got workers who are short within the first 5 years. How does it well-being improve retention? This is what you think they should be doing. Again, by doing that, by thinking about InsureSafe, by thinking about your opinions, and then by finding research to back up your opinions, you're building out the perfect answer. And that's what CIPD want to see. They want to see independent HR consultants who can think, have their own opinion, and then research and evidence to back up their standpoint and back up your view. That's what they want to see. And this question, it's a perfect question for that, because again, it's mainly 2 action points that you need, and you can really build out the answer. And just think about it from a couple of perspectives. So if you think action point 1 might be recruitment and selection, so again, retention, turnover rate, sickness days, stuff like that, how improving well-being can do that. And then if you think about it from a performance management, number of sick days, increase activity within the office, performance, everything from that perspective. So just think about how it interacts and think about how it builds. Now, as always, we're going to recommend some reading for you. So I've given you 4 this time. So the CIPD report, which is Health and Wellbeing at Work 2023, that's a survey. It's really helpful. The Harvard Business Review, 7 strategies to improve your employees' health and well-being. The McKinsey & Company. So if you remember earlier, we were talking about academic theory. I think it was the very first question, academic theories about well-being. Well, the McKinsey & Company have done a research on the future of wellness, connected and customized. And then the final one that I'd recommend you read is an academic paper, which is, it's got the title, The Pursuit of Organizational Trust, the Role of Employee Engagement, Psychological Wellbeing and Transformational Leadership. So again, if you're thinking about HR leadership, which is again, people management practice, how well-being, so you've got HR leadership is another part of that practice because they manage the HR function. Think about it from that perspective. How does it all interconnect together? This is a massive research paper. I would probably pull that paper out and just read that on its own before addressing the question or anything like that. It's quite a lengthy thing to read. Most things here are around about a 10 to 20 minute contribution. The academic paper will probably take you about an hour to go through it and really sort of think about it, but it's really beneficial, I think, in terms of getting your head in that consultant perspective of how does this interconnect, how does this thing, how does psychology play a part in engagement and transformational leadership. I think generally, just take a step away from the qualification and passing the question. This is a really helpful paper to sort of build on from anyway, so I would definitely recommend that you read it. If you're studying with us, it'll be the next 4 things within our VLE will straight away direct you to that, so you're going to be given it anyway. If you're watching this via CIPD Bitesize and you're not one of our learners, it is also going to be made available in our community area so that you can actually read the things connected directly to the resources that we recommend. Now, as always, we then create a bit of a fictitious scenario to just try and help you contextualize the question. Let's come at it from a different angle. Let's create a bit of a story around it and sort of explain it to you so that if you're reading this question going, how does it interact? I don't quite understand how to answer it. Well, this fictitious scenario is designed to try and help you understand it by giving you a different perspective. And by a different perspective, what I'm talking about here is the Great Galactic Bake-Off. So the Great Galactic Bake-Off was upon them. Each team, representing a different sector of Intergalactic Pastry Guild, was tasked with creating the most magnificent interdimensional cake. I'm going to struggle to say some of this. I can already feel it now because obviously some of these words are multiple syllables that I'll struggle to go about. Well-being was the chef's mental state. They were stressed, burnt out, brimming with cosmic joy. This directly impacted their creativity, focus, and ability to conjure the perfect dough. A stressed chef might accidentally infuse their cake with anti-gravity, while a joyful one may sprinkle stardust to make the cake sing. Performance management was the taste test. Did the cake meet the expected flavor profiles? Was it light and airy, or was it disappointingly dense? Regular taste tests ensured the cake was on track, allowing for adjustments to the recipe, like adding more cosmic sugar or reducing the interdimensional spice. Recruitment and selection was the ingredient sourcing. The team needed to find the finest cosmic flour, the juiciest nebula berries, the most potent stardust. The wrong ingredients could lead to a disastrous cake. Imagine a cake made entirely of moon rocks. I mean, isn't the moon cheap? Anyway, sorry. Compensation and benefits were rewards and perks. A winning team might receive a lifetime supply of cosmic sprinkles, a vacation to a chocolate planet, or even a private audience with a grand galactic baker. These incentives motivated the team to work harder and strive for intergalactic culinary glory. I nearly screwed that one. Learning and development was the Galactic Cookbook. It contained ancient recipes, innovative techniques, and tips from the most celebrated pastry chefs in the galaxy. By constantly learning and improving their skills, the team could create increasingly spectacular cakes. Now, the key takeaway from this is just like the Great Galactic Bake Off, each area of people management interconnects with well-being. A well-rested, happy chef creates better cakes, leading to improved performance. Strong recruitment brings talented bakers, while robust learning and development equips them with skills to excel and minimizes the learning curve that they would need. A generous reward motivates the team to reach for the stars. And ultimately, a focus on well-being isn't just about being nice. It's about creating a thriving team that consistently bakes the most delicious interdimensional cakes in the galaxy. So if we take that back to every job, every role, every person within every part of the business, you've been asked how it interconnects with the people management practice. But every job, well-being, how does it improve their performance, their happiness, their work-life balance? How does it make them feel better in their role and perform better and give to the company more and give to their family more? Balance is the key. And that's kind of what this fictitious scenario is designed to explain to you. How do you make sure everyone gets what they need to perform at their best? And then you're more likely to get a cake that sings instead of a cake that tastes like moon rocks or cheese, which is what the moon is. The moon's made of cheese, right? Anyway, absolutely best of luck with this unit. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.